The human embryo begins its story at the formation of the zygote at fertilization. This is a single cell structure that grows and grows and grows until it becomes a whole organism. This occurs at birth. The human embryo is peculiar because there are debates as to what its nature is. Is the human embryo human or is it subhuman? If it is human, the killing of a human embryo then becomes murder. If it is not human, then what is it? At what point does it become human? There are several theories, and the theories are as follows. We have the conception theory, which is the absolutist theory, and this is the most widely accepted. It is strange though that it is the latest model of understanding of the human embryo, having only been used in the 19th century because of the discovery of the human egg by Bonver. Before this, several models were followed, including the ones used by the Jews and the Roman Catholic Church, which says the embryo becomes human only when it reaches the fetal stage, at which time it will have acquired its appendages so that it's recognizable as human. That is, it will have a head, it will have limbs. But before then, it was not considered human. This was because the human egg was not recognized as an entity involved in fertilization until the discovery by Von Baer in the 19th century. The advantage of a theory of conception is that it has science behind it. Since the very first process of life begins at fertilization, which is the same point of conception, and there is no other process which separates new life from maternal life except this one. It is therefore difficult to expect scientists to believe that life begins before this. Strangely though, it is even the scientists themselves, by that I mean investigative scientists, who refuse to accept the theory of conception. Most other people who may be shark scientists or who may have little knowledge of biology support this theory enthusiastically. The next theory is the Morula theory. This theory has the least of support. It is found mostly amongst modern reproductive technologists who have discovered that maternal transcription of DNA, which controls the early embryo behavior, continues until sometimes 4-cell or even Morula stage of the embryo, when the actual zygotic or embryo transcription of the embryo genome begins. When the later begins, the proteins produced for the physiology of the developing embryo are strictly derived from the transcriptional processes of the nucleic acids of the embryo itself. In that case, the embryo now becomes independent and fully human. The brainwave theory suggests that it is only when the brainwave appears, at which point it is assumed that the embryo has now developed a functional brain. That is the time the embryo becomes human. The soul theory says it is only when the embryo acquires a soul that it becomes human. Most Islamic theologians would suggest that this date will be 40 days after fertilization. Primitive streak theory. This theory suggests that the organ primitive streak appears at about the 14th day after fertilization. The primitive streak is unique because it brings organization to previously unorganized embryo. Before the formation of the primitive streak, the embryo does not have head, tail, or limbs, but just a ball of cells. But after the appearance of the primitive streak, it now has presumptive regions. The nervous system theory, which is the next theory, suggests that an embryo cannot be said to be fully human until it develops a nervous system. This theory relies heavily on the principle that without a nervous system, the organism cannot feel pain. And if there is no pain, then there can be no actual life. In that case, the embryo is considered to be a plant. It has the status of a plant because plants don't have pain.